I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about signs you're being breadcrumbed.
You mean like chicken cutlet?
Absolutely. Or a nice breadcrumb and a nice salad.
Oh, I see.
You love a good salad.
I do like a good salad.
Other than that, we don't like breadcrumbs.
We don't. We are not a fan.
In the salads, we like them, but no, we don't want you to be breadcrumbed.
Not in your relationships.
No, absolutely not. A lot of times when we're talking about breakups, and we're talking about an ex reaching out to you after a long time, and they're often very small bids to connect with you, that they're frightened to reach out because they're afraid of rejection, okay? So that's often why we say not to ignore somebody when they reach out.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So I want to make that clear. So we're going to talk about breadcrumbing.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between an indirect direct, a bid for connection, and breadcrumbing. So what is breadcrumbing? It is a form of manipulation. And this is important for you guys to understand because whether your ex intends to or not, if they are giving you small little pieces of affection or little bits of hope over a span of time with no follow through, that is a breadcrumb.
Yeah.
That is a form of manipulation to keep you hanging.
Exactly. And that's very different than the indirect direct, which is more of you haven't heard from them for 4 months or 5 months, and they finally reach the courage to break no contact and reach out to you.
And also very different from a week or two after the breakup hearing from them.
Yeah.
I also see many of you being worried that your ex is breadcrumbing you when it's not even been a couple weeks since the breakup.
Yeah.
We're talking about normally months, sometimes longer. We've seen years that an ex will continue to breadcrumb with no follow through, no meetup, no escalation of the relationship.
That's right. And if you've heard what we said for years now, it's your goal is to get in front of your ex. Okay? And we're always trying to encourage you that when your ex does do an indirect direct, and you're trying to navigate that to get in front of them. We're not talking to you about texting all day long, texting and disappearing. No, we're not encouraging any of that. We're saying we're looking for your ex to get in front of you so this can be repaired somehow, slowly.
Exactly. And the term breadcrumbing has been comparable to being lured in, being strung along, being led on. So these are terms that are similar to that. And it's also talked about in the literature about narcissism quite a bit. It can be used as an emotional abuse tactic to keep somebody that you're gaining that type of validation from on the hook without really investing. So basically you're getting your needs met by having them respond. It's like a little game for the person while the other person is still holding on to this false hope, basically.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's not every case. Sometimes it is unintentional, but you guys have to understand that manipulation can be unintentional sometimes. In fact, I think a lot of people can act in manipulative ways without intending to be that.
Or not understanding the consequences of their actions on you, right? And avoidance are particularly notorious for breadcrumbing because they don't communicate as well. They often shut down easily. And they get overwhelmed easily, and it's just too much for them. And that's why they often do it. They don't necessarily know that they're hurting you. Now, that doesn't absolve them from being responsible for that, but sometimes it just comes from a place of not really understanding the impact that their behavior is having on you, right?
Yeah.
But unhealthy people will do it for worse reasons, like narcissists. They will do it because they enjoy getting that validation, getting that attention.
And having that power over someone.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we're talking about like maybe 10% of the population or less, honestly, to be that seriously developmentally delayed or arrested. So, just understand that yes, there are people that have really serious attachment issues and will do toxic things, like consistently reach out to you to get your attention and to feel validated because they don't feel good about who they are.
It's also called Hansel and Greteling.
Uh-huh.
When I was looking this up, I found that term and I had never heard it before, but it makes sense if you think about the fairy tale. A little trail of candy to kind of lure you in, to get your attention, to get your, you emotionally attached and to be able to control your emotions through that.
And what's it called?
Hansel and Greteling, like from Hansel and Gretel.
That Hansel is so hot.
He just lures me in with that delicious candy. And it's like a text that says you up.
I think they're doing a sequel to the Zoolander.
Are they?
Yeah, I think so. I think I heard that this past week.
I see. But you were also mentioning reasons as to why an ex or anybody at all
I'm doing a blue steel.
Are
while
you?
you were doing it.
Oh, okay. Well, is that going to be your default face as I speak? Okay.
I think I should go for it.
Yeah, do it. Okay.
You can't make me laugh. Hold on, you can't make me laugh when I'm doing it. Okay, ready?
As we were speaking, so we're gonna get through it, you guys.
Why did your voice drop 3 octaves when you said "as we were speaking"?
Because we were kind of emitting this,
Okay.
this type of aura. So your ex might do this for validation, as we said, but also as an emotional crutch. Now we know breakups aren't easy for the dumpee, but also for the dumper. So it could be a way to ease the breakup for them, to know that they still have you there, that they could still contact you if they wanted, that they could still open up to you and be vulnerable if they wanted.
Yeah.
So that can ease the consequences of the breakup for them.
Yeah. Which we don't really want to do.
No. No.
But
Not at your expense.
How do you know if you're being breadcrumbed?
Well, we got a couple signs that can hint or give you an idea if this is happening to you. So if you do notice that you and your ex have this type of communication that's been ongoing for months after the breakup, we've talked about the time period. If it is a couple weeks or so, normally this is not considered breadcrumbing yet, but breadcrumbing can be months to years after the fact.
Yep.
So some of you, we've talked about, worried prematurely that your ex is breadcrumbing you when it hasn't been that expansive time yet.
Yeah.
So it may be an indirect direct. It may be a genuine bid for connection, but it depends on the intensity of the relationship, the quality of it. All of these things make a difference. For example, somebody who's been married to somebody for 20 years and is going through a divorce, communication after that separation is going to look a lot different from communication after a couple-month relationship.
Sure. Yeah. Trying to figure out if you're being breadcrumbed or not is not easy, because when you're hurt and you're really sensitive about things, you can really intensify their behavior, and like you could be looking for things that aren't really there, one way or another, meaning that they want to be with you or they don't want to be with you, and so it can be really signs or confusing with the signs of what they're doing.
Yeah, and many of you pick apart those tiny little messages that you've been getting after months. What does it mean? Is this genuine? Is this not genuine? And so it does take an emotional toll on you. You're concerned if your ex is really wanting to repair things or if they're not. And so it can be really confusing and really tumultuous as a person being on the receiving end of this.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of patience, because every time they reach out, you're going to feel like, what do they want? What's their agenda? They may not know their agenda yet. It depends upon the person. Each person is different. Sometimes they're doing it for selfish reasons. Sometimes it's because they miss you and they just don't know what to do, or they're confused about things. So
yeah, and it's going to depend on how self-aware a person is and how considerate a person is.
That's true.
Because they must also know that the breakup hasn't been easy for you. So for them to continually message you and not think about the emotional repercussions on your end, it does tell you about where they're at.
Yeah. So if the conversation just seems very superficial, no substance to it, nothing meaningful, that's a good sign that maybe it's a breadcrumb.
Yeah. And if you also notice that there's no flirting, or if you try to make the conversation a little bit romantic or playful or flirty and they're not receptive to that, then that might also be a sign that they're just seeking for any response rather than thinking of escalating.
Like trying to connect with you.
Right.
Or it might only be about sex.
Yeah.
That they're not really coming to you because they are trying to connect with you in a bonding way, but other than I just want to get my needs met. I had a guy I did an email coaching with recently that reached out to his ex, let's just say for some online gratification. And she was pretty upset. And she was like, no, I don't want you to contact me about this. And when I read the email, I was like, of course not. She wants to feel like you care about her, not because you're reaching out to get your needs met. And that's exactly what it felt like when I read the email. I was kind of cringing on the inside.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, you told this person you love them and now you're just reaching out for that. And it was like, So look for your ex to be, doing things that are only for sexual gratification. It might not be about connecting and repairing a loving relationship, just trying to hook up.
Yeah, and breadcrumbing can be sexual in nature, even months down the line. And that can confuse many of you because you're thinking, okay, they're clearly still attracted to me. They still want to have some sort of interaction. But don't mistake that sexual only type of connection as your ex wanting to really repair things.
Yep.
Another big sign is if there's no follow through. If they're not wanting to meet up in person, that they're not keeping their word with what they say. And this can include agreeing to plans and then later canceling.
Yep, at the last minute.
Yes, and this can hang up so many people because it seems like in the moment that they're interested. Yes, they agreed to go to Olive Garden or they agreed to go to Applebee's.
No, don't agree to go there.
But then the time comes and then they're sick or, their dog starts throwing up or...
There always seems to be a roommate's family member that comes into town. My roommate's mother is coming into town. I forgot I can't make it. I've heard that one so often.
Such a strange one.
Yeah, and it really is a strange one.
Yeah, but this really is flaky type of behavior. And if you're noticing this being a repeating pattern, then guys, please just be aware of it.
Yep.
Be a little bit more skeptical, okay?
Yep.
They might not offer to reschedule.
That's a big one.
This is something that we do see. Because if somebody is genuinely interested, if they're trying to make plans happen, they will more than likely say, okay, this time doesn't work for me, but I'm available on these days. It takes two to make something happen. The planning can't just be one-sided.
Yeah. And a big thing I'd be looking for is transparency. If they can't make it, are they saying, I'm so sorry, I can't make it tonight. I really feel bad about canceling last minute here, but this is what's come up. When are you free next? That is showing a genuine, sincere, follow through, right? If I had to cancel the plans with somebody last minute for whatever reason, I would be transparent because I want them to understand that I value their time and their plans with me, and I'm really, I feel bad about it, and please let me know when you are available. We can reschedule it.
Exactly. You want to see that genuineness showing through.
Exactly.
Another big sign is inconsistency and ambiguity. So are they replying consistently? Are they continuing the conversation? Are they not? Do they only reply sometimes? Pay attention to these types of patterns. And sometimes exes will leave messages vague and ambiguous on purpose. So it might be something like, when are you free? And you're like, I've got a lot of work happening soon. I'm not available in the near future, but, maybe summer of
2039.
Exactly. So they're very vague. They don't give you clear dates. They're not answering your questions clearly, and or they're dodging the questions.
Yep.
So just be aware of that.
Sometime in 2039, somebody's going to be watching this video and be like, wait, that's not too far from now.
That was last year. That's true. But it does tell you where they stand emotionally. They're not ready to be clear with you in any way.
Another big sign that somebody is breadcrumbing you is not showing genuine interest in you or your life, not showing a genuine, sincere curiosity. What's going on with you? Like really wanting to know. Asking you questions. That shows that they care. If they're not asking you questions about you or your life, it's a big red flag. I had a call recently that the couple had been together for a while, a couple of years at least, and they had not met the significant other's children. I was like, wow. Things like that come up. Mm-hmm. It wasn't breadcrumbing in that situation, but it's something that you'd want to look for.
Right. And sometimes clients will show me their text threads or send it to me so I can kind of review it, give my thoughts on it. And sometimes I will notice in the conversation that it's very one-sided, mm-hmm. that interest is being shown on one side. How are you doing? How are things with the cat? How's your life been? And on the other end, it's just very plain, kind of bare minimum. They're not really showing genuine interest, or it's all about something that they're going through. They only reach out when they're in a moment of need. So pay attention to that. Pay attention as to when they reach out, why they reach out, if they're being responsive, and if they're showing genuine interest.
Yeah. Okay. Another big sign that you're being breadcrumbed is that you see that they're moving on with their life. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes they're in a new relationship with somebody else, messaging you. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that one over the years.
I have opinions on that.
That they are like socially admitting they're in a new relationship, maybe on Facebook, mm-hmm. says in a relationship with this person, and they're contacting you and trying to hook up with you. How serious are they about anybody? Mm-hmm.
Really? Pay attention to how your ex treats other people, mm-hmm. including if they are dating somebody new. How are they treating them? What are they saying about how they're showing up in their relationships that they're supposedly committing to?
Yeah, mm-hmm. absolutely. Don't ignore those things. What kind of life changes are they making? Are they including you in any of those things? Are they discussing any of those decisions with you? Are they saying, hey, I'm starting this new career, I'm moving to this new place, showing that they're trying to involve you in their life and incorporate you into changes. That will tell you if they're really serious about it or they're just kind of stringing you along.
Right, and also how vulnerable they're being with you. Sometimes, you'll reach out to an ex or they'll reach out to you and they're somewhere completely different that you had no idea about. They've gotten a new job in a new city and you're just sitting there like, what happened? Why didn't you tell me about all of this until now? Why is it important for me to know this now? So pay attention to all of those things. Most importantly, big points that we want you to take away from this video is that if you are being breadcrumbed, to be as direct and clear as possible. In Sicilian, we have a term called bello chiaro, which is like when you're being nice and clear with somebody, and it's normally when they say something very blunt. So, of course, timing and delivery are very important when being clear with your ex and setting a boundary. But we want you to realize when somebody is manipulating you, when somebody is just stringing you along for the validation, for their own needs, and thinking about what you get out of it. Yep. What is ultimately what you want? What are ultimately your intentions? Most likely, if you're watching this video, it's to repair that relationship with an ex. Mm-hmm. So in their mind, they might be thinking, oh, this is a nice, cute friendship that makes the breakup easier for me.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want that for you.
No,
we don't.
We do not.
So be clear with your intentions. Be clear about your boundaries, what you can handle emotionally. Because in the long run, this type of breadcrumbing and being so invested in it, it's not healthy for you.
Yeah. You have to really think about what you want mm-hmm. and don't settle for less. Now, there may be periods where you're not getting exactly what you're wanting, but if it's moving in the right direction, that's a good sign. Mm-hmm. But if it's continually the same thing over and over again, not going anywhere, then you got to really think about how much it's impacting you in a negative way, bringing you down. Mm-hmm. All right. So, in summary, breadcrumbs are for salads and not for you.
Exactly.
I don't know how many videos we're going to have to make any more clear.
Yeah.
We don't want you to be breadcrumbed, okay? Don't confuse an indirect direct, where somebody hasn't reached out to you in months, for a consistent breadcrumbing situation. It's very different. Okay? Some people don't understand that. So, if you want to get our help personally, you can get it on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.